Comment on the
And I think it was
statement.
because we were doing testing earlier, and I was just going through the slides just to make sure.
All right, Debbie.
So, I'm gonna
You got it,
talk
girl.
about
You speaking.
Mrs. Debbie Robinson. She attended the conference last year. I've met her,
At the gym.
at the gym. There's some several ladies in here to go to conference. And last year she attended the conference, which I appreciated because she didn't know me that well. But she came as a guest because Jeanette was speaking, and Jeanette is her personal trainer. And Debbie, you look, not that you didn't look great last year, but baby,
I know.
you're doing what you did. So I'm gonna let her tell her story though. So she asked me, she inboxed me, she's like, hey, if you need somebody to talk about, whatever subject. And I said, okay. So when I got to planning, I thought about her. I said, you know what? Let me contact her and see if she is interested because it was a very relevant topic. So I'm grateful that you reached out. So here we go. Give you a little bit of Debbie's bio. Having been a teen mother and wife at the age of 17, this woman is well aware of the trauma that can ensue from what was a volatile and dangerous relationship. She had to start over at the age of 20, raising a daughter alone. 5 years later, she started over with who was then the love of her life, who helped raise and mold her daughter until her love lost its battle with kidney failure, and she was again single after a great 20-year marriage. 4 years later, she started over with whom she thought she'd ride into her golden years with. 8 months shy of her 10th wedding anniversary, she was told that her spouse no longer wanted to be married. She found herself starting over, living alone, paying an exorbitant mortgage for a home that he wanted, faced foreclosure while working a toxic job. 10 years later, she started over by retiring, moving to Arizona. And I'm not telling that part. I'm gonna let her tell this particular.
You don't have to bring none of it.
Part of the story because I love it. She received her baccalaureate degree in sociology with an option in social services from the California State University at Hayward, and has worked as an AmeriCorps worker, Corporation for National and Community Service, where she ran adolescent groups, provided mentoring services, and also participated on a teen suicide hotline in Alameda County. Debbie was a keynote speaker at the state rally for AmeriCorps in 1994. In 1997, she received her Master of Social Work degree from the University of Michigan, where she was trained as a clinical therapist. While in Michigan, she worked as a social worker in foster care, where she provided mental health services to teens who were tormented by sexual, physical, and emotional abuse. She also served as the president of the Association of Black Social Work Students at the University of Michigan. In 2000, CSUH awarded her the first Excellence in Education Award, which goes to alumni who have provided excellent service in education in their community. Currently, Debbie is a retired college administrator who is a life coach helping her clients with getting to their next. She especially loves encouraging and guiding women through trauma and life changes. Truth speaks to her spiritual gifts of love and encouragement. So I am going to allow her, like I said, she has some awesome things to share. So ladies, please help me welcome to our stage, Mrs. Debbie Robinson. Thank you. I appreciate that. From next to clicker, just to the right. Okay.
Dr. Kiva, where's she go? I'm gonna get her a kicker.
No, I think she went to the restroom.
Okay, well, I'll kick her when she comes back. A lot of her, what she was saying in the beginning, her whole thing, at the beginning, that's my thing as well. So she already did it, but it's hot up here. It's very hot up here where she was, and so that makes it easy. The disclaimer, that's what it is. The disclaimer is kind of similar to mine. I I'm a little girl who was born and raised in San Francisco, California. Child of the 70s, Black Power. All that's going on. And I'm so excited to be here today. I actually sent this lady a revised bio because I was like, this is too much stuff. And I just need to stand up, you know. But again, it's just sometimes good to kind of hear what you've done, because sometimes you have to encourage yourself, right? And so with starting over, you know, you'll find out that you'll need to actually encourage yourself. So I did not do what everybody else did, put all their notes up here. So I'm going to probably be close over here because I wrote down some things because I did not want to forget some of the things. Also, yes, I'm a minister, so if something hits you and you want to hit it back, make sure you say it back. Okay, so that exchange, going back and forth, is something that I love to do. So I want to tell you a story. So I want to tell you a little bit of a story. And actually, she actually said it in my bio. I'm going to tell you the bio again, but in a different way, right? Because it kind of sets the scene for what I'm going to be talking to. So, it says, she was a teen mother and wife at the age of 17. She endured several years of emotional, sexual, and physical abuse for the person she was married to. So she started over at the age of 22, raising her daughter alone. You heard that. At age 23, she started over with who was then the love of her life. You heard about that, about the kidney failure. 4 years later, she started over with whom she thought she'd ride into her golden years. Like she said, 8 months into the 10th anniversary, he says, I don't want to do it. This was his reasoning. It's not you, it's me. How many times have you heard that? Again, she started over, right? I'm working at the horrible job, right? 7 years later after that crazy job, and I had been in higher education as an administrator for 25 years, and I was trying to get to that 30. But I had a boss who was so toxic until it was going to be me or him. And my father always told me, don't let anybody mess with your money. And I was too close to retirement. And so with HR, when you're working in higher education, especially in the California Community College District system, HR doesn't have as much power than unions do. And I had to learn how to deal with that, right? And so I just got out, I retired early, I moved to Arizona, and now I'm very excited and happy because I have my life back, right? So I am painfully aware of the trauma that can ensue from a volatile and a dangerous relationship where you lose yourself. Thank God that I finally have my happily ever after. So mine is a story, and the other thing is I kept hearing words all this morning, all day, from things that I'm going to be talking about. So everything is so connected. I don't know if you understand how God worked and you pulling people together and the subjects together. I kept hearing the words of resilience, hope, restarting. Those things I'm going to talk about. And I just thought it was amazing. So mine is a story of resilience, hope, and starting over several times, right? And I'm sure that some of you all can relate to that. Listen, starting over isn't failure. It isn't failure. It's a reset. It's a reset button. That didn't work, I'm going to start over and try this. That didn't work, I'm going to try. It's a reset. We have to stop punishing ourselves because we have to start something over, right? Got to stop it. Listen, reset is a chance to build with more wisdom and clarity. Okay? In other words, let's do it again. I know that song, right? Let's do it better, right? It's true self-care. That's really what self-care is, right? So I have a friend, her name is Chrissy, and I asked her, could I use this? And she said, self-care isn't always spa days and vacations. For a long time, I thought that was the only way that you have self-care. Going on vacation, but you might not have no money to do that, right? Sometimes it's slowing down long enough to enjoy a good meal, sip your coffee, your tea very slowly, and just breathe. Taking care of you looks like giving yourself permission to pause. I'm going to stop right there. I want you to think about that. Giving yourself permission to pause. When I'm coaching a lot of my clients, especially women who are in trauma, I said, you have to give yourself permission to be okay. You have to give yourself permission to be who you are. You have to give yourself permission to be who you're going to be. Right? And so it's really important that you give yourself permission to pause. Listen, being superwoman is overrated. I started bringing little capes. And was going to put capes on all of you all. Yeah, no money, I'm retired. Right? But my money's good up in the back. Being superwoman is overrated. It's good. When you're rested, it's easier to pour back into others. And I know you all have heard this. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You have to be full at some level of being full. Right? All right. So, what am I starting over from? And this is you talk about a short list, this is a micro short list, right? It could be a toxic relationship. I'm married to somebody almost 10 years, and we almost at the 10-year talking about, is that 10 years? Really? Corrupt workplace, right? Bad business decisions, poor eating habits, self-hate, or abuse. Listen, you could be starting over from anything that has harmed you in the past. Have you ever thought about, if it hasn't been you, maybe someone else has said, I just can't come back from there. I just can't do that. I don't know how to get to the next place, right? We have to learn how to start over from that. Hit the reset button. When computers go down and you do everything that you can, you have called all the tech support, Geek Squad can't help you, your cousin can't help you. Sometimes I was having the same issue with my printer. And finally I just said, hit the reset button. Hit the reset button and everything came out the way that it was supposed to. Your life is the same way. Hit the reset button, right? All right, so there's 6 things we're going to talk about. Did I get it out? So I have notes on my side. Mindset, I want you to consider these things. Mindset and perspective, emotional care, physical care, practical self-support, connection and support, hope and resilience. Those 2 of those words that I had seen earlier today, right? So, mindset and perspective. So a mindset is a set of beliefs. I'm going to read this because I don't want to mess this up. A set of beliefs that shape how you make sense of the world and yourself, right? It influences how you think, how you feel, and you behave in any given situation. It means that what you believe about yourself impacts your success or your failure. A mindset, you're setting it, right? Your perspective is basically your individual point of view, your outlook, or your way of understanding the world, which is shaped by your personal experiences, your beliefs, your values, and your cultural background. It's the filter, the unique filter through which you interpret your situations, your facts, and people, and it influences your judgment and your behavior. So how you think about a thing is how you handle a thing. Sometimes while this normally is good, it's fixed, sometimes that needs to be challenged and changed. I had to really change how I thought about myself. I was a little girl in San Francisco who was all legs, long hair. I always had this big booty, right? Because it just drove me crazy. Even now, it just makes me nuts. And so I thought, my mindset was that I'm never going to have a boyfriend. I was always a friend of the pretty girl because my mindset said of how I was formed and how I was shaped and all the things that had gone on in my life, that I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do well. I couldn't be that girl. So I wanted to be that girl. But my perspective about it, how I thought about it, changed when my mother said, you are all that you need to be. And it doesn't matter what you look like because you're beautiful to me. Now your mama will tell you that, right? It's like, I want somebody else to tell me that, right? But I had to change the mindset so that I didn't need anybody else to tell me that. You know what I'm saying? So that was really important. So one of the things we have to think about when we're talking about starting over is our mindset and our perspective. What do we think about this particular situation, right? The other thing is we want to think about our emotional care. See, I click here, right? So emotional care is important. Give yourself permission to grieve when you work out. Give yourself permission to grieve what didn't work out. Oftentimes we deal with the death or divorce of a situation by glossing it over or stuffing it. When you stuff, when I was a therapist, I was talking about stuffing. When you stuff something, what actually happens when it gets where it can't be stuffed anymore? You either explode. If it's an external source, you will explode. But when you stuff on the inside, you implode. And it has the same effect, where it just tears up so you implode. And then you have to start all up. Sometimes you can't pull that back up if you don't know how. You don't know how to pull that back. Your emotions are all over the place. And in the words of something that's not very professional, you're jacked up. When your emotions are all over the place, right? So we have to practice self-compassion. Ladies, you have to be compassionate with yourself, right? Speak to yourself as kindly as you would a friend. And I think sometimes, we're conditioned that way sometimes maybe by the way that we're brought up, is we are easier with other people than we are with ourselves. Have you thought about that? Right? So be soft with yourself. Emotional care. You have to make sure that you're connected with your emotions. Question, and this is not rhetorical, so you can respond. Why are we kinder to others more so than we are ourselves? Why do we do that?
Because we have an inner critic.
Uh-oh. Inner critic.
Mm-hmm.
And what makes us have an inner critic?
Probably comparison to other people or situations.
Yeah. Yeah. And you may not think that you're actually being more kind to somebody else. But if you think about it long enough, you may say, oh, here's a prime example. Somebody's coming in the door and you're coming in. Oh, no, it's okay, you can go first. Well, you might want that chair, so you need to go in like, you know? So sometimes it can be little things or big things. But sometimes it's just a little bit, our parents tell us to be kind, be nice to the people, that's fine. Right? But when it starts to talk about your emotional care, your emotional health, we need to think about that. How do we do that? Stay grounded. Find principles and practices that help you to stay grounded. That could be journaling, that could be prayer, that could be meditation, anything that's going to help you to process a positive emotion, right? Make your self-intentions plain and clear, right? There's a passage of scripture that says, write the vision and make it plain, right? So that a hero or the one who's speaking forth can see it as they run. So if you're your own hero, you want to have a vision so clear in your mind and in your heart that you can see it every time, even with your eyes closed. That will help you with your emotional care. It's really important that you have that done, right? The next one is physical care. Uh-oh. Jeanette's going to talk about that. I'll tell y'all now, and I'm standing at the door when she comes up. We don't want nobody to run out. What you talking about physical care? Listen, my first point is go to the doctor. Go to the doctor. One thing she's going to have is a little bit for thunder. She's going to talk to you about getting your hormones checked. Physical care. Because guess what? If this ain't right, this ain't right. If this ain't right, it can get bad. So we have to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves. Get all the tests, whatever they are. We're talking about mammograms and, whatever it is that you need done, do it. It's important. You're talking about blooming, and if you don't have your body right, and whatever that means for you, you can't bloom. We haven't purged. We haven't done it because we haven't done the things that we needed to do to make sure that our bodies are good, right? Listen, prioritize rest. Take a nap. Take a nap. And I'm having to learn that, especially being of a certain age. So my husband can come home, he works at night, and he'll come home and he'll just take a nap. I'm like, well, when are you going to wake up? When can we go do something? He said, I'm tired. He said, you need to learn how to take a nap. I said, why? He said, if you won't be so irritable. But I have chronic insomnia, so I don't want to take a nap. He said, he said, we'll just deal with that later, but take a nap, right? So he was talking to me about prioritizing rest, because new beginnings can be exhausting. Anything new is exhausting. So take a nap, rest. There's a difference, and if you don't agree, say it. Would you say there's a difference between sleep and rest?
Yes.
There is a difference. Because sometimes when we're sleeping, and I sleep real good, but my mind is going. And I'm thinking about the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing. And I used to sleep with my phone by my bed or a notepad. And so when an idea would come up, especially if I knew that I had to preach the next day, I would get up and talk it, speak it. But that just makes it worse, because you can say it, but then you got to analyze it, and then you got to put the outline together in your head. You ain't resting. You're sleeping, but you're not resting, right? So take a nap, get good sleep, eat clean. Don't hit me with nothing. Eat clean, as clean as you can. That's really important. I don't mind telling my age, because I don't mind it, because I didn't have to be here this long. I'm 66 years old. I'm about to kick 70 in the butt. 4 years, we'll have a big old party. And part of it is some of the things that I'm talking to you about, physical care. I've always kind of hit the gym, was hitting and missing, but it wasn't until I turned 55, I started really thinking about it. But when I hit 60, girl, you better do something now before it's too late, right? And so when I came into Arizona and I met Jeanette at Copper Sky, now I always tell this story because it's just crazy. So I'm in there, getting myself together. She walks up to me and she said, "Hi, are you in menopause?"
It wasn't like that.
That's how it was.
I don't remember that.
That was on your physical. I'm right. What I didn't know is that I was in postmenopause and didn't know it. But what that did was that opened up the door to my mind thinking differently about how I took care of my body. Listen, ladies, we only have one. We're not going to get another one. So we have to take care of ourselves, right? Starting up, so for me, becoming a gym rat, because that's really what I am, it was starting over. I felt like I had to just recalibrate my life, because I was heavy, and depressed, and pre-diabetic, and all these things I had never heard of. And let me say this too, because I don't want you to think that I'm beating up on you. That's what I had to do. So what I'm saying to the rest of us is, however you need to get your physical together, do it. I implore you, do it. My mother died when she was 62 years old. Prettiest woman I've ever seen in my life, about this tall. But a powerhouse. Would not stop smoking. Would not. Didn't really work out. And she also had leukemia. And so she would go in the hospital, and sometimes she'd be in there 3 or 4 weeks. Well, you can't smoke 3 or 4 weeks in the hospital, right? She come out, I take her home, and first thing she does is fire up a cigarette. "Mommy, what are you doing? You've not smoked in all this time." You know what she said to me? "I like smoking." And I like smoking to the point where then she had emphysema and all that, and by the time, she was 62, 63. And the word just said, enough. So what happened is when I turned 63, I started getting nervous. Because I'm like, okay, well, I don't have any of those issues. I don't smoke or anything like that. But still, this was coming up for me, right? Because all of my grandparents are all over 90. They were all over 90. My father just passed on a wedding day. On a wedding day. June 28th, 3 months ago. God said I want to do this. But my father helped me with this. My my father jogged 3 to 5 miles a day until in his 70s, right? And the only reason, and so he drove the bus, he was a Greyhound bus driver. And he drove until he was 75. And then he said, well, I think I'm gonna retire. Well, yeah, you know? And it's only because he had to have a double hip surgery, but he would go to the gym and he would work out and work out and work. So that's why I got that grind to do that. So even though, so he was kind of dealing with bladder cancer off and on, I would take him in, they would, you know, shoot him, embolize him, it goes away, right? But on December 13th, December 23, 2024, they said you have colon cancer, stage 4. This is a man who's been healthy all his life. He will tell you, I put no poison in my body, I don't smoke, I don't drink, right? And they gave him 3 to 6 months. He made it 6 months and 3 weeks before the Lord took him home, right? But even in that, what they kept telling us is, it was this that kept him all that time. He still looked okay. I would go to see him, he's still walking in his walker and doing, but still strong. But that demon of cancer can take you out of here quick. I have a side-by-side picture of him, and from one day to the 5th day, it was like night and day. But I'm so grateful that he taught me that it's so important that I take care of myself. And so I offer that to you all as well. Make sure you take care of yourself. Move your body in gentle, nourishing ways. It can be walking, it can be stretching. I'm still talking about starting over because some of you aren't even here yet. But you have to hit the reset button so you can get here. It's really important that you do that, right? And the reason why you need to do it is because it's difficult for you to start over if you're exhausted. You can't do it if you're exhausted, right? Okay, let's try next one, so I'm going to be crying all over the place. Practical self-support. When we set goals, it's important that our goals are flexible. Because you may feel this way today, and you feel this way tomorrow. And you want to be able to have a goal where you have room for adjustment. Because sometimes you may set the goal too high, and it's too rigid, you can't get to it, or too low, and you can just blow over it, right? Create a daily or a weekly ritual that reminds you of your progress. So it could be, I have like a whiteboard kind of thing on my refrigerator, and I'll just, put my goals up there and then mark them off. It's kind of like those of us who have because my baby show ain't young no more, have young kids, and they'll like do a chore chart, and they'll mark. It's kind of the same thing. What are your goals? What is it that you want to do? How do you support yourself? Because listen, everybody may not have a good girlfriend. I think after today you might. Me and Dr. Kiva, we're going to be good girlfriends after this. Right? So you got to have, sometimes you may have to be able to support yourself. Or pat yourself on the back. She was asking me some of the things about what I did, just in life. What I learned how to do, and one of the other reasons why I retired so early was I wanted to travel. Right? And so what I would do, there were really good travel agents. I said, okay, Mary, send out a thing, get all these people. We want to go to Jamaica, we want to go here, we want to go there. The people were not responding. Hurt my feelings. What are you talking about? Couldn't get them. She said, Debbie, don't worry about it. I'm going to hook the trip up just for you. I said, wait, hold up. You mean like with nobody else with me? And she said, I said, oh, no, I don't do that. She said, yes, you do. Yes, you do. She said, because if you keep waiting for people, you'll never go. You'll never go. So I think for my 60-something, 62, 63, something like that, I flew into Miami by myself, got on Virgin cruise lines, and cruised for 8 days to Bahamas by myself. All right now. Support myself. Oh, when they had the red night, I was slamming in this long red dress, my hair way down here. There's nobody to do, right? Because I have to be able to support myself. This year, I said, well, this is my last single girls trip. I can still travel, but he doesn't want me to travel by myself. Me and my girlfriend just went to Athens, Greece, stayed there for 3 days, got acclimated to the time zone, changed, and just all of that, and then got on the Virgin again, and got on the cruise, and cruised to Greece. Being able to have a support system that sometimes is just you. Because if you can't be okay with you, it's going to be hard for you to be okay with somebody else. And sometimes it's hard to start over, if you don't have anybody to help you, right? So take that for what it's worth. So you have to have some practical self-support, right? So the next one is connection and support. So these are basically support with other people, right? So seek community. Seek community. I'm going to kind of wind up, I know at this time of the day, we're tired of sleep, right? Seek community. Share your journey with trusted, underline, highlight, trusted friends or support groups. Because guess what? Everybody ain't your friends, right? And everybody's not going to celebrate your successes. They're just not going to do it. And you know how you know? Because they'll start to fall away. The better you do, the more you do, they'll start to fall away. I had to get to the point where I was okay with that because I'm like, wait a minute, wait, we've been girls for 20 years and 30 years. What we're doing here? Not going in the same direction. Not going in the same direction. Being pruned very differently. And I like to say my prune, when I was pruning, I was going up. She was pruning, I don't know where she at. But she wasn't coming where I was coming, right? So build a community. It's really, really important to do that. I'm glad when I have friends and family in the room, and so Jeanette and I, after she told me what I could eat and couldn't eat, and why you doing that, that's a good friend. But I never would have thought that would have happened just from that quick talk.
Are you in menopause?
Are you in menopause? Before you say hello, what's your name? But I have built community with her because if I don't know what I'm supposed to eat, I'll call, or when I'm just going to eat something and it's not the right thing, and dumb me forgets and puts it on Facebook. What are you eating? Why are you eating that? And it wasn't, the other thing though is, you can't have this without this. You gotta be connected because anybody else can tell me that. I'll be like, I eat what I want to eat. Don't be talking to me. But we have a connection, and I know that she only wants the best for me. That was important to me, right? So be okay with your community. Find you a community. Whatever it takes for you to build a community, do it. It's worth it. It's really worth your waiting goal to be able to do that. Why? Because we can't do this thing alone. We just can't do it. We really need some help. How do I know that? So I'm just trying to stay very neutral, but this is the only way I can think about it. In 1 Corinthians 12, there's something called, when I teach it, I talk about body life, right? And it says, if you aren't, basically what they're saying is, it attributes it to physical body. If you aren't the arm, can you say you're not part of the body? Right? If you're not the leg, can you not say you're part of the body? If you're not the arm or the ear in the situation, does that mean you're not part of the body? It takes all of that to be part of the body. And don't sell yourself short, because that passage also said, it also gives you the idea of the least member of your body, right? And so you may not be an ear, you may not be an arm, but you might be a baby toe, right? And so people, they mess around, they don't think about this baby toe being important, fool around and break it. I broke mine, so I wasn't walking over like this. You know what I mean? Crutches. So if you're an arm, if you're a leg, if you're a baby toe, guess what? You're important to somebody. You're important to yourself, but you're important to somebody. Don't negate who you are in the possibility of how you can bless somebody just being who you are. Just smiling. Y'all some of the prettiest women I've seen. All I see is beautiful smiles. I see different hues, different races, nationalities. But you know what you have in common? You're all smiling. You're all sitting here supporting each other. You're building connections and you're supporting. Is that right? Is that good?
Yeah.
All right. So the other thing that's connected with that with connection is don't be afraid to ask for help or guidance if you're stuck on something. Should I be eating this? Do I have to do 100 abs every day? That's life. For when I was trying to go to Greece, no, Bahamas was one of them. I had to do 300 a day. Y'all ain't understanding. 300 abdomen exercise a day.
That's because she wanted to do a fast pace. That's why.
Whatever. I had to do
That ain't the norm. That ain't the norm.
300, and then I got my grandson involved, and so he's sending me videos on how to do that, right? But it was because I wanted to be able to, I had asked for help, and so I got the help. But the help may not come the way that you wanted, but what did you think? It'll probably be what you need, right? Listen, the other thing is, everyone might not celebrate your new status. After you've asked for the help, after you've got the support, right? Everybody ain't gonna be happy about it. Everybody's not gonna be ringing the bell, getting excited about it. So what do I say to that? Choose wisely. Choose whoever's gonna be in your corner, in your circle. Choose wisely. The older I get, the smaller my circle gets. The higher up I go, the smaller my circle gets. I used to call them, so you may hear the term circles of influence, or spheres of influence. I have thimbles of influence. little people, just a few here and there, right? So it's really important. Surround yourself with voices and environments that inspire hope and resilience. You want people to help you to get to that next level. People that can help you to be resilient, to bounce back. Right? And like I said, there's a lot of us here of different, races or whatever, but just pardon me, let me just say this just to make the point. Women of color are some of the most resilient people I know. Because they've had to fight through so many different things, specifically African American women. Would you agree? Y'all agree? Resilient? You have to bounce back. Bounce back. A lot of times, and this can encompass all women, we are double minorities, right? We're a woman, and then we're a woman of color, and we're doing the same job as a man, but this is his pay, and this is my pay. And so we have to make sure that you can have some help to help you to go through that and to figure out. Find people who are on the same page as you. Sit with people who are on the same road with you. Try to find people who are like-minded to help you with this connection and support. Ladies, don't isolate yourself. When I went through that divorce, I just isolated myself. I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want nobody looking at me. Don't say nothing to me. It was a big public, public wedding, and, he was a pastor. And,
I've been there.
I'm first lady, whatever that means.
I've been there.
I isolated myself. And just didn't talk to anybody. And just kept eating.
Church about to be over.
Because I was isolated. I didn't let anybody here. And definitely didn't let anybody out. Don't do that. Make sure you find connection and you find support. Because it's so important that you're able to do that.
I'm going to switch the
The
color
other
first.
point is that there's hope and resilience. Right? Hope. What is hope? Hope is wanting an outcome and believing that it's possible. How simple. You want this to happen, but you have to believe that's going to happen for you, right? It's more than a simple wish. It's an active mindset that includes having goals, finding pathways to achieve them, and believing in your own ability to get it done. Now, resilience is the ability to adapt to and recover from adversity, trauma, or stress. Right? Repeat that. The ability to adapt to and recover from adversity, trauma, or stress. The idea of being able to bounce back, right, from a difficult experience. Embrace it. If you embrace it, then you bounce back from it. But if you run from it, you have nothing. What you going to do? Because it's over here, you over here. But when you're resilient, you say, hey, this is a rough thing, but I'm going to embrace it. And I'm just going to bounce back from it, and I'll keep pushing. It's really important that you do that, right? Okay. 4 minutes, okay. Oh, I'm almost done. Okay. Really almost done. Just a thought. Maybe it's not always about trying to fix something that's broken, right? Maybe it's about starting over and creating something better. That's really what a reset is. That's really what starting over is. It's not about trying to fix something broken, right? Because sometimes things are not fixable, right? But maybe it's about starting over and creating something better, right? Start over, create. I had to when I got out of that physical abuse with that person, I had to create something better. Why? Because my daughter was gonna see what I had been through. Because the first hit was with her in my arms at 10 months old. Hit me in my. I said, "Oh, you want to fight? Oh, okay, all right." Well, that was a Sunday coming from church. Put herself down, her little white fur coat. It's about the earrings. Somebody talked about it. Put Vaseline on. Let's go. Let's go. And so I had to learn that I need to create something better. I had to start all over again. With the process of starting over, hopefully you'll be able to find and improve you. I don't think I'm going to get through it. I'm going to give you guys my email, then you can contact me on the rest of the notes I can give it to you. Find your purpose. Possibly find love, if that's what you want. Because everybody may not want that. Right? So your purpose, I'm going to skate through it. The purpose of life is to live it, to taste experience to the utmost, to reach out eagerly and without fear for newer and richer experience. I want to talk really quick about, this is so important, I think the crux of everything is here. How many of you have ever heard of Dr. Miles Monroe? Yes. Oh,
Everybody.
what am I saying? Right? So purpose is the reason for which something or someone exists or is done, made or used. And this is what he said. When you don't know the purpose of a thing, you will ultimately abuse it. Right? Abuse is abnormal use. So when he hit me in my face, that was abnormal use. That's not where I was created. That wasn't my purpose. Right? So when you don't know what your purpose is, and even your own self, when we don't know what our purpose is, we can do some abusive things to ourselves. Right? So I'm talking about starting over. You have to understand who you are. And if you don't know, you have to get help with that. That's what coaches are for. That's what therapists are. Spiritual family, what it is, a good friend. Find a way so that you don't do this. Right? He also said, this is one of my favorites, the wealthiest place on earth is a cemetery. Why? Because it contains unfulfilled dreams, unwritten books. Okay, that should have Debbie Robinson next to that. Uncreated businesses, untold stories of potential that never saw the light of day. Think about if you go to the cemetery. People have died with dreams, died with purpose, died with books written, locked up on the inside. I also say that the cemetery is full of unfulfilled purpose. There's a term that says, die empty. Don't go to the grave. You have all of it locked up in you. Whatever it is that God has given you, whatever it is that you have worked so hard for. When my husband passed away, and I kept questioning, why him? We've been married 20 years. Greatest guy, he helped me raise my daughter, all those things. And my brother told me, he said, sis, brother-in-law died empty. He had nothing left to give. Nothing left to give. He had helped me raise her. He helped me get through school. When I got ready to go to the University of Michigan, I wasn't going. When I got to, it was time for graduate school, I said, I'm tired, I'm not going anymore. He goes, yes, you are. This man packed my car, gave me a party, and I'm like, what we doing? And then next day, he gave me an airplane ticket. He said, go outside, your car's packed, you going to Michigan. For what? I said, I only did that application to appease you. No, but he knew, he had a vision, it was prophetic. He said, I gotta make sure that after I'm gone, you can take care of yourself. Because he had purpose. And knew what his purpose was. Ladies, make sure that you find out what your purpose is. There's a book, The Journey from Pain to Purpose. I'll give you this stuff so that you can see it. The only thing I want you to focus on, with great purpose comes great pain, but with great purpose also comes great accomplishment. In order for you to start over, you got to know your purpose. It's really important that you know that, right? There's some self-love. If you want to find love again, hey, love matures you, right? Your best season may still be ahead, right? Companionship has no age limit. I was a bride at 66 years old. At the time of my life. At the time of my life. And I'm a cougar because he's only 61. Yeah, so it has no age limit, right? Maybe you're not starting over, but you're starting wiser. Being married at this age with everything I've gone through is very different than when I was married before, right? God's promises don't expire, right? If he planted the desire to love in you, trust that he can still fulfill it at any stage of your life. Here's the truth. Age may change your body, but it doesn't disqualify your heart. It doesn't do it, right? So, final thoughts. When you're starting over, you're not starting from scratch. You're starting from a new experience. Your experience is just different, right? Sometimes you have to end something before you can begin something else, right? But you can't restart something that was never begun. Get busy. Whatever those things are that you have to start over, get busy. Only you can make the decision of what your reset looks like. Don't let people tell you what that looks like. Thank you. Do what works for you, right? Stop letting people determine who you are and what you can do. I lived here for so long. People telling me what I should do, what I should wear. When I turned 60, all of a sudden, they wanted me to wear dresses down here to church. No, I don't wear dresses that long. No, that's a nightgown. If I wanted it here, I'm not going to be, just showing everything. Why? And like I said, when you have hair that you buy, love buying it. One day it may be here, next day it may be here. Yes. It may be brown. What do you mean I can't do that? What are you talking about? Fellas. So stop letting people do that. Take a risk on you. Let that sit. Take a risk on you. Right? Because why? The odds are in your favor. Take a risk on you. You'll be surprised what you might come up with. You are more than enough. One of my favorite passages, I will praise you, God, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Right? Marvelous are your works. And that my soul knows very well. You are exactly who you need to be. You may need some fluffing up. You may need to do some minor surgery somewhere emotionally. But guess what? You're fearfully and wonderfully made just the way you are. Start over. Be okay with starting over. Why?
Comments, hate mail.
Questions, comments, or hate mail?
She said, oh, hate mail.
I know Jeanette has the hate mail.
Yeah, I got
Say thank
hate
you.
mail. No.
Oh.
Yay!
Maybe I got the prettiest eyes I've ever seen in my life.
You sure do.
Uh-huh.
I'm looking at the picture like, sir, what?
Yeah.
At 66 years of age.
All right now.
So I had to start over, so I don't tell you anything that I haven't done. So, like I said, if you need any of this information, it's here. I will email it. Call me. Y'all. Just call any of us. I think I can say that for anybody that was speaking. I just appreciate this time. I appreciate all of you. And go and do whatever you need to do. Start over if you need to. Keep it pushing, because you got this.
All right. That was awesome. Starting over is not a bad thing. That's why I wanted her to tell her story about her. Was it New Year's Eve when he proposed?
Yes, in front of 4,000, 5,000 people.
And, and it's online.
It's online.
So awesome.